Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rochester Regional Chamber's first webinar in a series of webinars that we will be putting together for you, all of our members. We are recording this call, so I want to make sure I let you know about that right up front. So the recording will be available if you hear of anyone who is unable to join us at this time. My name's Elena Campbell. I'm president of the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our two speakers today who have worked very hard putting this webinar together for us. We're going to just a little how the agenda is going to flow. I'll introduce our two speakers. They'll take it away and do the webinar for us today, which you can see the top 10 things to do now so you're ready to reopen. Post-COVID-19 marketing, top 10 ways to prepare. So we're really excited to hear their expertise. As we all know, due to everything that's going on in our world today, we need to rethink things a little bit. Our messaging maybe needs to be a little bit different, and we're really excited to have two experts who are going to help lead us through that. They'll make their presentation, and then at the end I have a couple of announcements about upcoming calls and webinars that you'll be seeing later on this week and next week as well. And I'll give you a little preview of some of the ones that we're working on in the future. So it is now my great pleasure to introduce Marilyn Trent. And Marilyn is the owner of Trent Creative. She is also vice chair of the Rochester Regional Chamber's Board of Directors, which means she gets to be our chair next year. Aren't you glad, Marilyn, you weren't chair this year?
Yeah.
you get to be cleanup crew.
And I'm rolling up my sleeves. I've got my waders on. I'm going to do it with you, Elena. You've got a good team.
Yes, and so we're really excited to have Marilyn on our board of directors, and her leadership with our organization during this time has really been critical. And then Jeff Letson with Refinery, who works closely with Marilyn on many different projects. And I'm going to turn it over to you. I will stop my screen share here and let you take over. And you guys can take it away.
Is it coming up? Is it shared yet?
There it is.
Okay. All right. So let's get going. Thank you all for attending. Just to add a little bit more about my company. I founded it in 1992. I have 11 years of branding and design experience and helping over 86 companies grow through effective marketing and branding. And we won, we're happy to say, we won over 14 national awards in the past 8 years, and all the while effectively helping our clients successfully grow their businesses. And I also have a passion for native plant gardening in my community. You may have heard of the Rochester Pollinators. I founded that committee as part of the City Beautiful Commission of Rochester to save the monarch butterfly and encourage people to plant Michigan native plants in their gardens to restore the natural habitat. And here is Jeff. You can hear a little bit about, go back. Here we go. There you go, Jeff, take it over. Jeff Letson is joining me as well.
Hey everyone, so again, my name's Jeff. I've been working with Marilyn for about 3 years. My background is in SaaS, sales and marketing, so I spent about 2 decades in sales and marketing leadership roles in that industry. And for the last 3 years, I've managed my own business, Refinery, and done a lot of work with Marilyn, and live here in Rochester Hills with 3 kids, 3 dogs, and that's about 99% of my day right there.
Right, thank you. Yes, as a small business owner, you're used to prevailing over adversity. This is unprecedented times of adversity. And we know that with teamwork and all working together, that we all will get through this. And so here we are going down the rapids together. So in this webinar, you will learn to, there you go, Jeff. He's going to do the bulk of the this webinar, as he is an expert at lead generation marketing.
So we're going to talk today about a concept called lean marketing. We'll talk essentially about how to do more with less, pivoting your messaging to speak to the reality of your clients today, and creating compelling messages that kind of speak to the moment that we're in, and discovering new revenue streams, sales models, and essentially just doing less with more, as we all need to right now.
We're going to have some great takeaways that you can implement right away when we're to go along with this as part of this webinar.
Yeah, there will be a set of web-based tools that you'll be able to access. We expect to post those next week, so watch for an email about those. And those will help you implement some of the things we're going to talk about today. So the first thing we're talking about is this idea of lean marketing. So there are a lot of different definitions of that out there right now. But for our purposes today, this is really about how do we get more from our marketing investments today, given that we're all going to have to be more conservative and really kind of rethink how we go about marketing. There's that old saying that 50% of my marketing investment is wasted. I just don't know which 50%. So today we're just not going to have that 50% to waste in the near term. So we got to really think about how do we pay for really just what we need. How do we right size our marketing investments? How do we get more leverage from them? And then how do we really have an ROI focus with every marketing investment that we make? So the examples that I'm going to tell you about today are things that we've used even over the last couple of months to save one of our clients about $250,000 in their marketing spend. So these are, on one hand, they make simple ideas. They are ideas that when put to use can really give you a lot more performance for your marketing investments. So the first thing I want to talk about is that a lot of times when you work with marketing agencies or marketing partners, it can feel like they're speaking a different language. They kind of live in a world of metrics that are different than financial metrics and accounting metrics. So, they tend to think about things like conversion rates and opens and clicks and likes and shares. When as a business owner and a client, you're really interested in the ROI of your spend. So what we often find is that marketing partners may think that they're doing a great job because they're really paying attention to different metrics than the client is. One client we worked with recently was getting reports from their partner that the partner was generating 300% ROI on their marketing spend with them. Actually, the reason they were reporting that is that for every dollar spent on the marketing agency and on ad spend, they were generating $3 in top line revenue. So the agency thought, boy, we're killing it. This is great. But of course, as the client, you know that you can't spend the top line. You have margins, you have overhead costs, you have cost of sales, cost of service. So when we actually explained to the agency that they were really barely breaking even, and that to really be a valued partner, they had to generate $5, $6, $7, or $8 for every dollar that was spent on them, they immediately went back and retooled their campaigns. And overnight, within the course of a week, the cost of customer acquisition went down over 50%. So in their case, they're doing a lot of Google ads. So one week it was costing over $40 to make a sale. The next week it was costing $18. Given the volume of ads that this company does, that cost savings over the course of a year is $125,000. So simply by getting the vendor on the same page, what does ROI mean, to my business? Let's make sure we're talking about that the same way. That was a $125,000 impact for them.
Hey, can I interrupt? Can you
Sure.
just, if some of these are smaller companies, and I know that we talked about this, smaller businesses, and you said that you were going to provide a simple spreadsheet for them to use when they're evaluating any of their spends. Is that?
That's right. Every time you see the little tool icon, that's a resource that we're going to provide for you in the follow-up for next week. So in this case, we'll have an ROI calculation for you so that you can, look at things like advertising campaigns, agency fees, or even marketing technology spends, and see, are they really paying for themselves, and are they good investments?
All right, here we go. Number 3.
Another area where companies really tend to sort of get bloated marketing budgets in the area of marketing technology. Some folks on the call may do little or no sort of digital marketing now. Some of you may be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Either way, this is relevant for you because at some point, if you're not doing digital marketing today, it's going to be important for you to begin to learn some of that. And it can be a little bit tricky because what tends to happen is marketing agencies are often also in the business of selling software. So they will work as partners to large marketing software providers. So in the course of servicing client, they'll say, hey, you could really do more if you had this really great marketing platform. And before you know it, you're signed up for a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 spend a month for tools that are really so robust that they can actually be hard to use unless you have a large marketing team. What we found is that most small businesses, small and mid-sized businesses, can achieve 90% of what large marketing platforms can do on 10% of spend. So there are over 7,000 marketing sales platforms in the market right now.
Oh, wait a minute, you're cutting out a bit. Can you say that again?
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, is that better?
This is very important because I think people have started to see in their inboxes the free marketing tools that are being offered to you. And this is where Jeff had said that there's over 7,000 marketing and sales tools available, and it's hard to identify which ones are the right ones. And why I was so impressed with Jeff is because he's helped me figure out which ones are the right ones. But
yeah, and is my audio better now, Marilyn?
Your audio's better now.
Awesome, great. So the good news is, even though, the bad news is there's 7,000 tools in the market to, choose from. The good news is there's a lot of them are very affordable, very low cost. You can really build a marketing technology stack for under $100 a month if you're a small business. So there are great options out there for everyone. The trick is really to make sure that you right time to spend. The same plan we worked on the ROI analysis for their vendors was also spending just on a single email platform about, it was $7,000 or $8,000 a month. So over the course of a year, they were spending about $69,000 or $70,000 on that platform. We replaced that for them with one that cost $100,000 a month. And in their case, they were a very large e-commerce business.
I'm sorry, you cut out. How much was it per month?
Oh, so the one that we replaced it with was $1,000 a month, which for them was being a large e-commerce business, that kind of spending. Smaller business to do a fraction of that. But the point is that change during the course of a year was another $60,000 of savings for them. This is a giant business. It's a local business. And it's been run for about 60 years. So saving $60,000 a year and $145,000 there. And sending that.
Again.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? Yeah, that's odd. How it keeps doing that. I don't know.
I'll move my microphone a bit. Does that help?
That helped. Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry about that, everyone. But being able to drop that investment right back to your bottom line, and repurpose it, it can be a really huge impact. So again, here, if you're currently investing in marketing technology, take a really close look at that spend. Find out, chances are, if you're spending a lot, you can probably get by with tools that are comparable in capability that are a fraction of the spend. So this is another great area where you can really recapture some money.
Okay.
So the next area is how you work with your marketing partners. If you work with agencies today, there's a certain kind of set of rules that we're used to playing when we work with marketing partners. Upfront monthly retainers are often part of that.
Okay, you're back on.
Okay, sorry about that. It might be the weather, and I apologize.
Yeah.
So when we work with marketing agencies, often they require upfront monthly retainers, and it can seem in times like this, it can seem difficult to figure out how do you keep a partner like that on the payroll. What I would say is it's not even necessarily want to advertise with partners during.
Cutting out. Gosh, I don't know. Okay.
It's not that you necessarily want to sever ties with partners like that during times like this, because as we work through them, they can be vital to reestablishing your business and continuing to develop new business. But you can, ask them to be more of an equal partner with you, and to ask them to help you kind of share the burden of getting through this together. So it's perfectly okay to ask your marketing agency partner to, instead of paying upfront retainers, to do a 50-50. Maybe it's 50% on the front end of the month and 50% on the back end, or even deferred payment terms, because for them, it's much better from their perspective to really kind of share, the burden with you during times like this than to lose you as a client altogether. So, always recognize the fact that a good partner during difficult times like this will make accommodations, and you shouldn't be afraid to ask for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is and you and I talked about this, I think this is what people are dealing with all their partners. So I think that this is just us saying, go ahead and ask and see what you can negotiate.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Number 5.
So a similar thing that's happening right now with marketing software platforms, like agencies, there is less business in the market for them right now. So what's happening is we're seeing SaaS companies or marketing technology companies really give a lot away for free right now. We're seeing companies provide 6-month free trials, some cases, 3 or 4 or 5 months. Again, because they have more limited ability to sell software right now, they would rather give it away for free for an extended period of time, establish some value with you, and then hopefully bring you aboard as a customer 6 months from now when the economy comes back online. Even for companies that aren't offering extended trials like that, most of the time right now, if you simply ask for one, you'll get it, because again, they would rather have a chance at making you a customer 6 months from now than not have the chance to make you a customer at all. So there are lots of great offers out there. If you don't see one for a platform you're interested in, go ahead and ask. You'll probably get it. The one piece of advice we have is be careful about trialing products that are outside of your normal budget range, because what you don't want to do 6 months from now is be in a position where you've really gotten accustomed to an expensive platform, and now you can't really afford to keep it going. You have to switch to something else. So go out there, ask for extended free trials. Just make sure it's something that down the road fits within your budget.
Yeah, and the tool that we're going to provide is Jeff has identified some free trials that in the long run will work financially. Okay. Nurture your list.
So a lot of what we're seeing right now that's really smart is we're seeing companies pay it forward right now. And even if they can't monetize their list right now, they're being generous. You know, I mean, compassion during times like this is free, and it can really pay dividends as the economy, you know, comes back together. Marilyn, if you want to flip to the next slide, I'll talk about that example. This is a great example. You know, my family and I go to Lifetime downtown, love it. As soon as all this happened and they had to close their doors, they, you know, stopped taking membership dues. And during this time when everyone's at home, they're actually sending out videos each day that they're creating during this time when everyone is off about how to do kind of in-home exercise routines, how to try new things with your diet, just all kinds of things you can do with your family while you're together at home to maintain some healthy lifestyle, even though you can't get down to the gym during this time. So this is just a really great example of how, even if you can't turn sales with customers right now, these small acts of generosity go such a long way that your customers and the people on your list will remember that when they're able to spend again, and you'll be top of mind, you know, both top of mind and really top of heart with them as they're able to re-engage your services or your products. If you don't have a list, you know, now's really the time to start. I know that seems daunting, but if you don't have a list, the reason you may not have one today is you may think that that's just kind of onerous to people, and people don't want, you know, all that email and what have you. And what I would say is that people do want to hear from you. They do want communication from you that's high value. And I'll give an example. My son turned 11 in January, and he had started to learn to skate on a skateboard last year with a really inexpensive starter board. So for his birthday, he wanted a really legit, you know, high quality skateboard. So there's a fantastic store down on Main Street. We went in there, had the best buying experience. They spent like 90 minutes on us, educating us and really helping us find the perfect board for him. And by the time I was at the cash register paying, I asked them, I said, you know, do you have an email list? Can I get on it? Because I would love to hear more from you guys and be able to, you know, learn more about this myself and share it with my son. So, you know, don't think that people don't want to hear from you. They, you know, if you're able to share with them, you know, really value added ideas related to your products or services, they'll be more than happy to open your emails. And if you don't have that list started today, some ways, you know, 3 quick ways you can start it.
Sorry, I don't know. I touched it and it just started moving. My apologies.
Oh,
there
no
we
worries.
go.
Can you still hear me, Marilyn?
Again, yes, I can hear you better now.
Okay.
Reanimate. Okay.
So 3 quick ways to start your list. If you have a physical storefront downtown, use that window space to provide an offer that people can receive once your doors are open again in exchange for signing up on your list. So just post an offer in your window, post a URL they can go to sign up for your list, and let them know that when the doors are back open, if they've signed up, you know, to get email from you, they can get 10% off or some special offer that you can provide. Secondly, check with, you know, your fellow business owners or friends who are more, you know, who are online and doing digital marketing more. A great way to grow your list is to be a guest either on their blog or on their podcast, or if they're doing a video series. You'll find that people are remarkably generous about, you know, doing interviews with other business owners and kind of introducing them to the people, you know, to their customers. So that's another way that you can really begin to bring some people into your email list. And then finally, the amount of time people are spending on social media right now is off the charts because, you know, we all have, you know, we're all sequestered. So if you're not currently engaging people with your business brand on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, now's the time to start doing that. The first step always seems the hardest, but you'll be amazed once you take that first step, the snowball effect, you know, begins to happen, and it becomes easier and easier. So your customers want to hear from you. If you're not already engaging them, now's the time to start.
Okay. You've seen this about 3 times. And it does come with a tool. Yes, this is time to clarify and pivot your message to fit the new normal of your customers. It's time to review your business for COVID-19 opportunities and identify the right message now that's good now for your customers. So what I say is, how do you do that? I mean, you've probably heard that, create this wonderful, compelling message, but really, how do you do this? Well, I put together this little couple of slides here to help you do that. So first of all, you start with the basics. Your business strategy. It probably should change a bit, some more than others. Review your business offerings, what should stay, what brings in the most revenue. Who are your best clients? Using the 80-20 rule. 80% of your company sales comes from 20% of your customers. Do your research, evaluate, and brainstorm what you can change now and into the future. So then the next thing you need to look at, not marketing yet, get over to your brand strategy. Just take take it out of the mothballs and revisit. Who are you? How are you different? Are you going to be different now? How should people feel about you? How do you make them care? What is the essence of your company? What I'm showing here is the 2 sides that actually 2 strategies that inform the marketing strategy. It's the business strategy and the brand strategy. You can do it with just a business strategy, but for the most successful outcomes, you need to have these 3 components carefully thought out, and there is an order to it. And I mean, obviously, you're going to start out with a business strategy. You have to have financial stability. You know what your products and services are. You take care of your people and payroll and yada yada. But a lot of people ignore the branding strategy. But you need to have both of those to do your marketing strategy, to do it right. You want to know, who do we want to reach? What do we want to sell them? What distribution channels are we going to use? What plan and tactics how are we going to make this happen? And then what are the go-to market concepts? And this is how you capture and convert. Okay. So once those 2 strategies are defined, I'm going to use an example of a company I'm calling Acne Commercial Cleaning to show you how this concept works. So who are you selling to? Create that persona. Who is that perfect customer? And you might have different types of distinct customers and personalities, but for this purpose, I am using Acne Commercial Cleaning, and they sell to business and service providers because they sell to offices. They clean office space. And I defined it more by up to 5,000 square feet. The more you define it, the better you are, the more detailed you get. What are their needs? Well, usually daily, weekly, bi-weekly office cleaning services. What are their concerns? Well, now they're pretty anxious about reopening to COVID-19 safety standards. And they're also worried about everything else: payroll, client retention, new client acquisition. So what problem are you going to solve for them? They're not calling you up just to chit chat or ask you out for a drink. Well, maybe they are, but not this time. Anyway, the one problem that you're going to solve for them, there might be multiple problems, but we're using, this is a webinar, so we can't get too deep. So what is the job to be done for your client? They're calling you up because they want to feel secure in order for them to trust that your company can fill that need. I just happened to look up the COVID-19 safety standards, and lo and behold, OSHA guidance on preparing workplaces for COVID-19 has already been written. So another thing to think about is, if you want to add credibility to your messaging, you could tell them how long you've been in business, and that helps give you authority. So now you look at you're in their shoes. You're walking a mile in their shoes, as an old Indian saying says, and you're looking at them, and you're outside your body, and you put yourself in their body, and you're going to craft a message that's going to solve their problem and show that you understand and can address their feelings on reopening. You know, the old way is, well, Acme is experienced and expert staff who will clean your office effectively and efficiently. Well, that's nice. How about, is your workplace prepared for a safe reopening? Have a stress-free reopening with Acme Commercial Cleaning's COVID-19 OSHA workplace safety checklist. And so, if you have the business branding and marketing strategy in place, you're ready to take your message to market. And that's when you start to figure out, you know, what channels am I going to use? How am I going to, you know, get this in front of the eyeballs that are going to pick up that phone and call to evaluation for a cost to clean my office and get it COVID ready. And those are the calls to action. Those are the things that you say, what do you want your customer to do next? Do you want them to email you? Are you offering them a, you know, an evaluation for free and things like that? What are you offering them? And okay, so then this is what I'm saying. Remember, a clear and compelling message to the right audience at the right time makes the difference between connecting to your customer by addressing their pain or their issues. Or they'll ignore you if you don't do this. So now's a good time to update your website. Now that you're changing your messaging, now make sure that it aligns. You align your updates with COVID-19 messaging. And do you have outdated copy? Do you have any outdated artwork? Do you want to add any new case studies that you've done that you kept thinking you would do and haven't gotten to? And if you have enough content, dedicate a new tab for COVID-19. That's what the Chamber's done, and they've done an excellent job. Talk about pivoting. They have embraced pivoting. I probably could have had them do this, but they are kind enough to ask me. So, and in the meantime, as a marketer, I would recommend review all of your marketing materials, and that's not because of self-interest. I want you to succeed. So on to Jeff.
So, you know, as stressful and busy as this time is, as we're all thinking about how to, as Marilyn said, pivot our business models, you know, adapt to this new COVID reality and figure out where things are going. It's also a great time to really learn and level up because, you know, a lot of us are probably going to have to, we're probably going to have to, in some ways, become more self-sufficient, maybe internalize services that we used to externalize. So like a personal adage that I've always used is to do one impossible thing per day. When I was transitioning from leading sales and marketing teams inside of companies to starting my own agency, I probably thought about that for 5 years before I actually did it. And the reason it took so long is, you know, as you might assume, is that you, although you may know what you want, the act of learning or filling in different skills and really being able to take that step can be daunting. You know, so as we used to say in sales, you know, the way to eat the whale is bite by bite. So as I made that transition, I just decided I'm going to make a list of things that I just don't believe I can do, and I'm going to make progress against one of those every day. So for you, if you're just starting to build an email list or do social media marketing, that impossible thing might be writing your first article on LinkedIn, or it might be setting up a corporate Twitter account. Anything that in the past you felt like was just outside of your area of skill and knowledge. Everything that you need to learn to market your business, you can learn for free on the internet. And if as you go forward, you feel like you need to become more digitally savvy, just take the first step and challenge yourself each day to do something that 2 months ago you just firmly believed that you could never become good at. You can, there we go. And then, you know, finally, this is, you know, I read a great quote just the other day on LinkedIn. It was a person in the technical recruiter space who's kind of like the Anthony Bourdain of recruiting, if you can imagine that. But just a wonderful writer, wonderful thought leader. And he said, you know, when we all come out of this, we're going to be different. Things are going to be different. We're going to have to be different, and we're going to have to evolve. Now is a great time to really kind of, not only restore yourself, but rediscover what drove you to create your business in the first place. Because to adapt it to this new reality and to find new ways to connect with customers, you're going to have to tap into Simon. If you're not familiar with Simon Sinek, I encourage you to look him up. But tap into the why of your business, the reason that it exists, the reason that you serve people. And if today you don't know how you're going to pivot, how you're going to adapt, if you go back to that fundamental sense of purpose you had in starting your business, that's really the wellspring where you can rediscover new ways to serve your clients or your customers as we enter this kind of great unknown that we're walking into.
Okay. So you should be ready. You can start making your action plan, and so you can be ready to have a clear plan to lower your stress. Oops, I just stopped this again. I do not know. There we go. Yes, like I said, we're going to have some tools, some of the documents that, some of the things you saw, but my worksheet, there's going to be a list of the best tools, automated marketing tools that Jeff will provide. He also is going to have a spreadsheet and a couple of other tools that Jeff, did I miss one? So like there's documents that we'll have ready for everyone?
Yeah, so we'll have a page you can go to where you can access things like the ROI calculator. We'll have a list of low cost and free marketing tools or tools that have extended free trials. We will also give you some benchmarks for how to spend when it comes to your marketing technology budget so that you're not overspending. So there'll be probably 4, 5, or 6 really helpful tools on there that you can use to reduce the cost of your marketing and get more leverage and ROI from it.
You know, I saw that HubSpot had a $50 a month. If you guys have heard of HubSpot, Google owns it, so I can't imagine if you haven't seen HubSpot appear in your boxes, but inboxes for selling. But HubSpot lowered their $100 a month fee to $50 a month, so I thought that was a pretty interesting offer from them because they don't usually make those type of offers. But there's plenty of free ones out there because I know that there's a lot of people strapped for cash.
There are. We'll give you a list.
So we have a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, they can ask those now. We want to thank everybody for attending. This is our first webinar. So we're all guinea pigs here. So anybody who has any questions, please go ahead.